Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning. Hi, morning, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you wave? So I know at least everybody can hear. All right, that's fine. Okay, morning, everyone. So my name is Celestine Omin. This morning, I would be speaking to you largely around ethical coding and what is ethical coding and why it's important to every single one of us. Just by a show of hands here, how many people here write software? By a show of hands, how many people write software here? How many people code? How many people have ever written the line of code before? Okay, so that's fine. As software engineers, there is a huge responsibility on our shoulder. Just give me 1 second, people. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so as software engineers, there is a huge responsibility on us to not just use our skill set for good things, but also there's a tendency for us to use our skill set for not so good things. There is there's always a two sides to a coin, the head and the tail. As much as we have this much power, this much responsibility on our shoulder to do good for society, some people who have also gained this power of some sort have decided to toe the other line. So this morning, my idea here is just to talk to us about why we should do what we do and why we should do it in a very responsible way. So first and foremost, what is ethical coding? Ethical coding in my own layman terms is just ability for you to build software and write software ethically and thinking about what are the ramifications of your actions, what you do, and how it has multiplier effects, either good or bad. So the first thing I have on my list is when people do think about ethical coding, and as people here, the first thing I want to talk about is when we build software, we should build software and leave intentional backdoors. So basically, what are backdoors? Backdoors are the space or the places where people leave so that they can come back and do not so good things about them. So for instance, you built a software, you intentionally left a place open such that you and only you alone know that place. And if in a case of any issue, you can go through that backdoor that you left and cause some harm to either a company or an individual or whatever the case may be. Oftentimes when people work for companies, I have seen freelancers do this. So you work for a client, the clients didn't quite pay you, you decide to leave a backdoor in the system such that if they don't pay you, you go in there and cause some havoc. Well, is that a good thing? No. Should clients pay you? Yes. There's things that we do have effects. People can go to jail. People have gone to jail for those things. So when you're building this thing, don't leave intentional backdoors. Now, there's a case where you can build software and, out of a genuine mistake, you decide you left the door open and somebody took advantage of that. Now, that's very different from you intentionally leaving something open. So for instance, SQL injection, for instance, if you're building software, for instance, if you're doing anything that has to do with SQL, the rule of thumb is that you should be able to filter all your queries that come into the system such that they don't cause issues for anybody. Oftentimes, when we build those systems, you have things like delete one from one, and those things can have effects. So when you build a system, please don't leave backdoors. Seal every backdoor whatsoever. That is why companies pay people to do something like penetration testing. As much as you can, if you're building for a company, if you're working for a company, advise them to invest in that. In the long run, it will save you so much heartache, and it will save the company heartache also. You want people to live wherever you are, work with your head held up high, knowing fully well that you did your very best within whatever resources that you had at a point in time. Also, in recent times, I think every person here in the room probably has heard of the word phishing, typically where people trick you into sending details to replica websites. For instance, every now and then, we've all got this funny email that is purported from Apple or Amazon or any of those big websites that we use. Even your banks. So people, you get an email that says, oh, your ATM had been blocked, but for you to continue using the service, you need to enter your login credentials just to update it. Then you click a link and it opens you up to a website that looks very close to the website of your bank. And you enter your login credentials. And 30 minutes later, somebody is siphoning your money. Now, trust me, those websites were not built by ghosts. They were built by humans, people like you and I that have the skill set that can replicate this thing. So which is why, even if you're here in this room, whether you're thinking about it or not, don't get involved in those kinds of stuff. As much as you can, leave this industry with a clear conscience. Very many years ago, somebody that I knew reached out to me and said, oh, Shell was recruiting. So he wanted me to help build a clone of the Shell website. And he was going to pay me, I think, 100,000 naira thereabout. Yes, at that point in my life, 100,000 naira was so much money, but just my conscience just won't let me do those kinds of things, because you end up, doing this thing and hundreds, thousands of people will get swindled. And at the end of the day, you think you made some money. No, that's not true. If anything, you're an accessory to a crime. And since I don't want to be an accessory to a crime, I don't have plans of being an accessory to a crime, then I just didn't want to get myself involved in this kinds of stuff. So yes, people will meet you, people will come to you, people will try to entice you to do these things. And at that point in time, it might look very harmless. But I think if we or any family members of ours, fell prey to those kinds of things, I am very certain nobody in this room will be happy about it. Think about it. Your younger brother, your younger sister, or even your parents, fell victim to this crime that you either consciously or unconsciously contributed to. And all of a sudden, their pensions and gratuity or whatever they've been able to save throughout that career is being taken away from you. I am very certain people here in this room won't feel too good about that. So this is the problem that we have today. And this is something that we shouldn't be encouraging. I think the next thing I have on my list here is, if you discover a bug, reach out to the owners and what's the word now? And disclose it responsibly. Every now and then, we see softwares that are being built in the wild, and because we know that the software wasn't built properly, because we understand that there are tools that can allow us to take advantage of this software, most people either go ahead to report to the company, and most people just don't do anything about it. A couple of months ago, there was a researcher from a company called Cloudflare that discovered that a payments company had the card details of their customers on an S3 bucket that was very open to the world, and people, could do all manner of things with it. If you or anybody that run into this kinds of thing and makes this kind of discovery, I think the most honorable thing for you to do is to reach out to the company and say, hey, I found this, and this is what I think you should fix it. Not anything, it just shows you're a responsible citizen. But most importantly also, it just shows goodwill. Those things, those issues could have been from anybody. Those cards could have been from friends or family, relations, loved ones, anybody. So if you or anybody that discover these kinds of things, please reach out and make responsible. There are companies today that have hotlines or email addresses that you can reach them, and you can write them and say, hey, on my own, I found this, or I made this discovery. Oh, this is wrong and this is bad, all of those sorts of things. We're making plans to change them. And trust me, it won't cost you anything. If not anything, it will buy you goodwill. So try and make this kind of decision. So if I should recap what we've just done here, the first thing is, look, don't build software and leave intentional backdoors. It's wrong, no matter what the situation is. Even if you're going to leave a company in not so good terms, don't leave backdoors. It's not. If you leave a place, live with a clear conscience and be responsible. There's so much power that you and I have today. And, let's use that power for good. Two, don't involve or be an accessory to crime. For instance, I made an illustration about building clones of websites. If somebody showed up to you and said, "Hey, Globacom is employing, let's clone Globacom's website and ask people to pay 9,000 naira through it before they can get a job," please, by the mercy of God, don't get involved in it. Because when those issues blow up, whether you like it or not, you'll be called into it, such as by the law, you're an accessory to a crime. And one of the things you have to understand is that this industry is very small. It looks big, it looks really big, but almost everybody knows everybody. It takes maybe 3 or 4 or 5 persons to get to you. You want to be able to be that person that when people talk about, people can only hear good things about you. Don't be involved in crime. The money might look very good and very sweet, but at the end of the day, you're a thief, you're a criminal. There's no two ways about it. It's not hustling. Let's not get this mixed up. It's not hustling. You're not hustling. You're just a thief, plain and simple. And each and every one of you here, if you ever take a trip out of Nigeria, you probably understand the bad rap that we have abroad, just because a few people took advantage of other people's ignorance and decided to just, do not so good things. And every single one of us here in this place, in this room today, we're all paying for that mistake. And lastly, also, like I said, if you discover a bug, reach out to the owners and what's well down. Reach out to the owners and try to disclose it honorably. Don't take advantage of it. It doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you a sharp guy. Your aim is not to be a sharp guy. Your aim is to be a responsible individual. Think about if you're a medical doctor, for instance, and all of the things that you use your knowledge of medicine to do is to kill people when they're in your operating table or when they're in your room. I mean, there's no difference between you and a hired assassin. It's as simple as that. You're not hustling, nothing. Let's not try to glorify crime. Let's not try to give it any higher meaning or any purpose. Thank you. I would love to take questions now. I think I still have like 14 minutes. Hi, I would like to take questions. You can write them and share it through one person. Okay, so somebody just asked about its the criteria for becoming an ethical hacker. Certifies you to the best of my knowledge that you're an ethical hacker today. An ethical hacker is just somebody that just finds bug for the purpose of it getting being fixed. That's just the difference between you and an unethical one. While an unethical one finds that bug to exploit it for their own selfish gain, an ethical hacker is more interested in those bugs getting fixed and stopping any further harm from happening. So I think that's different. And somebody asks also, what's the easiest way to get into the industry since it's very small? And I mean, get in the industry and make a living out of it. Honestly, there's no easy way to get into the industry. I think the most important thing is for you to have the skill set. If you have the skill set, fine, good. Long gone are the days when a particular body had to certify you before you can do something. So back in the days, you had Sun Microsystem doing Sun Java certification, you had Oracle doing Oracle certification, Microsoft doing Microsoft certifications. Do they still exist to this day? Yes. But in this day and time, your skill set trumps every other thing. While it's good to have certification, I don't have any. I don't have plans of having any. But I think more than anything, if people can see that your skill set is good and you know what to do, and you're able to the task, then why not they'll hire you? So that's it. Any further questions? I think there's a Slido link, Slido or Slido, I'm not quite sure. Somebody asks, does being a good developer necessarily make me an ethical developer? So I think the concept of being ethical is something that you can't separate one from the other. Being a good developer means you should be ethical. Look, being unethical just means using your skill set for the not good things. So if you're a good developer, it's your responsibility for you to be ethical about it. This is an industry that we all have to protect with our own hands. Every now and then, SaaS is harassing people and lumping all of us together with people that do advanced fee fraud. So why not we use our own strengths, our own skills, our own knowledge, and just be good in whatever we do? So please, if you're a good developer, learn to be ethical also. Another question, for a beginner looking to improve your skill on ethical hacking, how do you go about it? Saying that you can't go around hacking people, hacking. Okay, I think that question has been taken away. Okay, are there ways one kind of a competition of unethical hacker? Yes, there are. It's very simple. Ask yourself, if my mother, if my father, if my sister, if my sibling, if my cousin, if my niece were to fall prey to this thing I'm about to do, and I got wind of it, how would I feel? She can live with that. If your parent, who had just invested 35 years in service, had taken their 2 million naira, 3 million naira pension and gratuity, and just dropped it in their first bank account, and 2 days later, somebody swindled them out of that money. If you think you will be okay with that, if you found out about it, please go ahead. But if you think you won't be okay with that, then please don't do it. Don't. There's no justification for it. Somebody asks, hello, are there free online courses for those who are interested in learning ethical hacking? Yes, I think they are. I'm a visual learner, so I learn a whole lot from YouTube. So go to YouTube, there are tons of videos on that. Go to Udemy also, there are like $10 courses on ethical hacking. Read, practice, and just try your hands as much as possible. Somebody says, what's the difference between cracking and hacking? Almost, frankly, I don't necessarily think there's any difference behind it. Both of you are just pretty much looking for loopholes, so why not? It's one and the same thing. Is that the last question? Is there any special programming language required for ethical hacking? None. As long as that language can help you build software, it also can allow you to do not so good things. So none. Even if you're writing a software with COBOL today, and it's going to be used by a set of people, and if any bad thing that can happen on that thing can cause problems for people, then that's it. There's no special language. In your years of practice, have you ever considered doing anything that may be unethical? No, I haven't. Because I like a simple life. I don't want to sit in my house and somebody knocks at my door and I'm being taken out of my house in chains. More than just a person, I have a family, I have kids, I have siblings, I have a wife. And because it won't look good to them, our actions have multiplier effects. I don't want to leave my kids with the words where when people see them, they link them to crime. No. So no, I haven't considered it. I don't have plans of considering it. I'm way too old to start stealing. So, and it's not in my nature to steal too. I was told that practicing makes me perfect in some domain. How do I push myself to practice? Well, I think for me, whenever I wanted to learn something, the easiest thing that I do so that I can maintain momentum and just keep myself going is that I decide to build a toy project. This is not a project that is going to make me money. No. So if I decide to learn something about DevOps, one of the things I would like to do is that I'll think about how to design a system that can mimic what the Google or Facebook or Twitter or Amazon of this world will use. Yes, I know it sounds very big and outlandish, but just having that big vision allows me to try to push myself. Then as I do that, I become very good and proficient with those things. And the good thing about using a project is that you can see an end goal with it. If you're just learning in a very unstructured manner, it's very easy for you to get discouraged when things are not going your way. So having a project and having this end goal at the back of my mind just allows me to focus my energy on what I can practice with very easily. Another question is, given the cases of where something you build had unintended consequences, what will you do to make things right? Well, fix it. That's it. If things that you build had unintended consequences, fix it. Most times we feel ethical. Most times we think that hacking or ethical hacking or unethical hacking is the only place when things have unintended consequences. But in reality, it's not. Even things that were meant for good things have unintended consequences. 2 days ago, I was watching a documentary on Netflix titled Abstract, and the designer at Instagram was talking about how just displaying follower count was causing people to become very nervous, and people started acting in a very rational way. So now there's a conversation that they should remove follower count, because when people look at the follower count of other people and they have less follower counts, they slip into depression. So for instance, I have 10,000 followers, you have 2. And all of a sudden you think I am a lot more popular than you, and you allow depression gets to you. Now, those were things that nobody ever thought would have those kinds of effects with people, but it's having, and people are committing suicide, people are slipping into depression, people are taking to drugs. So what do? You find a way to fix it. So today, Instagram is considering taking away those, metrics such that people can just look at their profile and not feel bad about those kinds of stuff. I think the last question I'll be taking here is, can an ethical hacker make money than his ethical counterpart? If yes, how? Yes, they are. So there are websites today, I think like HackerOne, for instance, that pay you money, to hack their website. The aim of that is just so that they can see how strong the products that they're selling to the world is. So you get paid for it. Even companies like Facebook, like Google, I know some companies in Nigeria that pay ethical hacker. The aim is that those ethical hackers, their job is to uncover those bugs and those loopholes so that the company can fix it before it falls into the hands of the bad guys. So yes, I know somebody who makes a career today as an ethical hacker. Here in Nigeria, he works for a company that I know about. So yes, there are ways you can do that. Are there things like internship or boot camps for ethical hacking? Frankly, I don't know. I don't know. Hello, what if you build a website that is used for fraud? Does that make you unethical, and how can you correct it? If you build a website that is used for fraud, well, it depends. If you are very much aware of it and you got involved in it, yes, it makes you unethical. If you did it unconsciously, well, we can forgive you. So for instance, let's say you work for a payment company and you build a website, you're a people that build the payments platform. Now, your intentions were good. We're supposed to help, process payment. But somebody using that product to commit fraud. What you do is that if you find out about those kinds of people, you shut them down. There are no two ways about it. That doesn't mean if away or enter point. But if you find bad actors, shut them down. It's simple and short. So I think that's it. Thank you so very much, everyone, and have yourself a very good afternoon and have a very good conference. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Hi. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, do give me a peace sign. Oh, great. All right. My name is Celestine. Like the other Celestine who spoke with you, right? So I don't like that I can't hear anybody. I feel like I'm talking to myself, right? Can I have the audio on? All right, cool. Hi, guys. All right, so my name is Celestine. I've been writing software. I've been writing programs since I started learning to write programs in 2005. And I've worked with InterSwitch, and I've built a couple of enterprise solutions, including a few deployed to Access Bank and GTB. I run a startup called We Move Technologies, and we build solutions for transportation, and we have a solution for tourism called Rally. We help people hire any vehicle they need, right? So that's a little about me. I want to tell you guys a story. Can you guys hear me? Sure. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah. All right. So I want to tell you a story, right? Sometime in 2005, December 2005 specifically, I was learning to code, right? And I used to go to the cyber cafe and stuff to learn how to do what I need to do. And I didn't have a computer back then. And I found myself in a cafe where there were some guys learning to do Yahoo and all that shit. And I was like, oh, okay. What are you guys doing? And they told me what they were doing and stuff. And then someone who is like an independent person there came out to me, knowing that I learned that I write code and stuff. Asked me to build something for him. Wanted me to build an email extractor for himself to use. I wasn't sure what it was being used for then until I asked for details of what it is. And he told me he was going to use it to get emails and then extract emails from websites and then use it to spam those people and send spam emails and fraudulent emails to those guys. I felt happy about the opportunity to build something, but I didn't like the idea of having to build something that was going to be used for that. So for me, it was important that, like Omin said, it was important that I put the use case of what I'm building in front of the thing I'm building, so that the things I'm building are not abused unnecessarily, right? So for me, that was part of the mindset I had back then. I mean, if I wanted to do Yahoo, I'm for don blow since 2005. I how that I for don blow die. But yeah, afterwards, then look at Invictus making the news and all that, right? That's not where we want to be. We want to do stuff that people are using. You know that 2005 was a year after 2004, and Facebook was founded in 2004. So let's look at similar scenario now. I built a tool. I learned how to code. I built a tool that was used for fraud, while Mark Zuckerberg learned how to code and built a tool that connected the whole world. I never make Facebook yet, but still, no, people are not using my tool to rob, and they are not. My name is not on FBI list, right? Yeah. All right. So having said that, I think I'm sure everybody know what ethics means. Every profession has an idea of what they need to do for everybody to feel like they are included in the that everybody is not left behind, right? So it's important for us as computer scientists and software developers to keep that in our mind at every time, right? What I'm doing, what I'm building, is it right? Is it going to be used the right way? Is it making things better for humanity? Now, this is very difficult for computer scientists because it's still a very, very, very new field, right? compared to other fields where a lot of things have been done, and it has affected humanity in a very big way, and lines has been drawn, right? We still find ourselves where we are opening up a lot of things as we move forward. You might not have answers to a lot of issue as you move forward. Now, if we look at physics, for instance, right? You know that when they fought the Second World War, they had to drop the atomic bomb in Japan, and I mean, all is fair in war and love and all that kind of saying, right? You can do anything as far as you're fighting war just to defeat your enemies, right? But after that, the physics community had to reevaluate what the general gain of this is, right? If we drop an atomic bomb in Hiroshima and then there's a war tomorrow and then someone else drop an atomic bomb in California, for instance, or drop an atomic bomb in Lagos, for instance, what will be left with this world? What will be left of us, right? People will just be dying. Like anywhere you go, every time there's a war, people have an atomic bomb. Everybody's just building an atomic bomb. And then in the end, there won't be human beings in the world anymore. Or not just human beings, the world will be desolate, right? So it's important that now, for computer science, we haven't gotten to that depth of ethical issues. So everything that is happening right now is being viewed in the lens of how useful can this, I mean, how bad can this get? How terrible can this get, right? When Facebook opened up their API and Cambridge Analytica took it to do whatever they needed, I mean, to do what they wanted to do with it and to perpetrate the evil they perpetrated with it, that question was asked again, right? There's a lot of things that are going to happen in the future of computers that we don't yet see what the effect of the negativity is. For instance, AI, for instance, machine learning, and all that stuff, right? We're going to find ourselves in a place where maybe you guys that are coming up ahead and building something that is amazing, and you're plugging in AI into it, and then it has to do something that affects a subset of people, right? Because your data is biased or the data set for which it's learning is biased. How do you handle those kind of situations? Now, a lot of times the questions around ethics haven't fixed those issues. It is left for us as we move forward to try to figure out what is best for the people around us, what is best for the community at large. Like Omin said earlier, if you consider the people who these things are going to affect in the larger community, is this something that if you are in that set of people, are you going to be pleased with it? Right? Is anybody who you care about going to be pleased with it? Ultimately, the goal is to develop something called empathy. Develop empathy for your users and for people who will come in contact with your solutions, with what you built, and for people who will come in contact with anything you have, right? Empathy is going to guide everything you build so that you can adopt the right ethics, so that you can understand, you can offer the right solution, even when you don't have the immediate answer at the moment. Sometimes what you could also do is to always ask for feedback, right? Always ask for feedback as you build new stuff. Now, there's an example I like to give also. There's someone who asked about what do you do when you have a situation when people are using what you built for native gains, and that is not what you intended, right? I want to tell a little story-ish, like a story, but not really a story, sure. So the time I met with the guy who built Nairaland, sometime in 2008, 2009, yes. Shewa. We used to be friends then. We were friends. It's been a long time we had a chat, but yes, we met up then and we met online. And he was telling me about how users of Nairaland were spamming the system, and they were having issues with the way the community was turning out. It was becoming too aggressive, and it was becoming sort of an issue where people don't feel belonged in the system. People don't feel like they had the like they should express themselves there. People don't feel loved, right? It's supposed to be a community where everybody come in. Now, how did he fix this issue, right? He got other people who had the same concern as him and made them head of communities, right? He made them head of communities. Apart from that, he wrote some scripts, some Python scripts. I think Python or Scala at that time. He wrote some code anyway to figure out the patterns of abuse, and so that he can easily track them and sort of point them out. And then members of the community who are admins can easily stop people who use this Nairaland in a bad way, right? So ultimately, what I'm trying to point out about this is that when you build solutions like this that has a potential of being abused, it's important for you to keep an eye on what people think and how people use your solution, right? And how they interact with it. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Are you guys following me?
Yeah.
All right, all right. So as I was saying, it's important for you to keep an eye on how people use your solution so that you can more or less get people to, put measures in place so that it doesn't create as much hurt. So you understand the patterns early enough to stem whatever hurt it might have on people in the future. Sometimes you might not know what is happening from the beginning, but once you see it, it's important for you to cut out every negative vibes, kill the bad energies in the system. You get? Ultimately, what you are building is about people, right? Technology is meant to serve people, right? Once you see that it is not achieving the right goal, be bold enough to do away with profits and do away with potential profit that you might get, and immediately correct the wrongs that might be coming up. So I think I don't know what I wasn't here from the start of the talk, but I think a lot of things have been covered by both me and Omin. So I would like you guys to ask any question you have. This should be the end of my talk. So if you have anything to ask, you can ask it, and I'll give you the answers I can give. Any questions? Okay, you know what? Put you on the slide audio, right? I'll pick it up from there. I think the echo is too much for me to hear you guys. All right, just drop your questions. I'll take them after at 12:45. I'll start answering the questions. So just drop your questions. I can see them coming in anyways. Your question don't only have to be about ethical hacking, right? You can ask any questions you want. It can be off the topic of what we discussed right now. You might be having an issue with how to pick up a framework or something like that. Or just talk to me, yeah? Don't be shy. Or anything about computer science that you think you need clarification on, go ahead and ask. My attention. All right, seems like you guys only want to talk about ethical hacking. Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know how to start that.
All right, so ethical hackers. All right, so I'll take your questions now. So someone is asking for someone looking to venture into ethical hacking. Where and how do you recommend the person to start? Learn to code first and foremost, right? Ethical hacking is about hacking in an ethical way, basically. So I'm not a professional ethical hacker, right? I'm a software developer, but I know there are EC Council courses that you can learn, you can take to understand the in and out of ethical hacking, right? So if you actually want to do ethical hacking after learning to code, then you can start to look at EC Council. You can run a Google search on EC Council and then figure out, maybe pick up you don't need to take the certification if you don't want to, but you just need to understand the standards. So doing a standard around EC Council courses, if you take the certification, it makes it a lot more, what do I say? It makes you a lot more professional in the terms of, I don't have any certification myself, but I know that having certification makes you look more professional if you go for that. But don't focus on the certification, right? Focus on understanding the process and learning the skills around it. You get? But EC Council is a very good guide, right? So go through EC Council courses and then look for other ethical hacking materials online. Take the question. Are there internships and boot camps for ethical hacking? Of course, there will most likely be. I don't know of any myself, but I'm sure you can get some online if you do a dedicated search around it, right? Like I said, I'm not a professional ethical. I'm a software. and this is not where I have I have a professional skill around. So it's up to you to see, oh, I want to be an ethical hacker. How can I find internship and bootcamp? And then you go online and get them. You understand, right? All right, cool. Should we try out ethical hacking as a career? Sure, why not? People make a lot of money out of it, right? Omin already said that there are companies that request for people to crack their solutions, and they pay for it. I mean, Apple gave out how much was it? How many millions were they offering as a bounty for whoever can crack their new OS? I mean, this is it. What else are you looking for? You get? So yes, of course, go for it. You want to build a career in ethical hacking, go for it. Do I offer personal trainings or mentorship for beginners? No, I don't. Sorry, yeah. Or if you're looking for, you can go for, there's somewhere in Lagos, I don't know if they do online, but they do physical training, somewhere called University. Check it up online. Alternatively, if you want to learn to do anything, you can find any resources you need on the internet. Pick up courses, go to Udacity and get a course. I'm sure you can get something as low as $10 to get yourself up. Excuse me. And then there's a few scholarship going on around that I can take advantage of. Okay, if one wants to start coding, must one start with HTML? No, you mustn't start with HTML. You can start with anything you want to, you feel that is appropriate for you to start learning with, right? Anything that fancies your interest, right? I'm sure whoever is asking know what HTML is. If you don't know, HTML is used to create websites, right? There are other programming tools that are available for you to learn. You can learn how to build backend application. You can learn PHP. You can learn Python. You can learn C#. You can start with anything, right? Most important thing is first to see what you want to do. I want to become a web developer. What is the best way for me to do web development? Oh, these are the tools available. And then you look around, pick up a project, and then pick a language, JavaScript. I want to use JavaScript to do it. Anything works. Any programming language is good, right? You don't start with, there's nothing that you can just pick up and say, oh, I'm starting with this. This is what is good. The rest is not. Nah, don't do that shit. Okay, besides ethical hacking, what else do you do? I'm not an ethical hacker. I'm a software developer. Who writes software ethically? So yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business. I'm a trained software developer. I studied computer science in University of Lagos. I've been coding for a very long time, and then right now I run a business. Combining school with programming during your time learning software development, how was it? Because I'm kind of finding mine difficult. Everything worthwhile is difficult. That's one thing you should know, right? So it's important for you to know that you're not going to be a student forever. You're not going to be in school forever, right? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
All right. You're not going to be in school forever, right? When you leave school, what else do you want to do? You want to be a software developer? Good. What do you have to do to be a software developer? You need to learn to code. So once you have that at the back of your mind, you know that it is important for you to start preparing yourself for life after school, right? I don't know what set you guys are in, but you know that you're not going to be in school forever. Some of you might be in your final year, right? If you want to come out of school and immediately be hot cake, you know, some people come out as cold eba, but you want to be hot cake, and when you come out, people are rushing you. You get, you want to be that person. You have to start now to do the work that needs to be done. Don't say, I'm learning this, it's difficult, so I'm just going to throw it away. All right, sorry. Are there any specific language for ethical hacking? I already said there is none. Is it wise to learn? Is it wise for one to learn graphic design before learning how to code? Do whatever pleases you, my guy or my babe, whatever, whoever it is, a guy or a girl. Do whatever pleases you. Eh? You want to learn to code? Great. You want to learn to design? Great. There is no one size fits all. Now, computers and everything around IT is immensely broad, right? And everybody has a role to play in this thing. You want to learn to code, that's great. You want to learn to design graphics, that is great. You want to learn to be a product manager, that is great, right? So basically, find wherever your interest lies and put in the effort to be absolutely good at it. Do you understand? All right. Who am I? Without knowing someone. Effort to get support to encourage learning has proved abortive. What do you mean by get support? And one thing you should know is that everybody is also busy working on one thing or another, right? So it's important. It's absolutely important as you move in and around this community and this environment, right? It is absolutely important that you approach people's time and you approach people with the understanding that everybody has their time fixed in one thing or another and are able to give you those time as, let me see, how do I put it? Appreciate people's time, right? If you appreciate people's time, first and foremost, you know how best to structure your own process. You know that if you are trying to get support, you have to be very, very, very clear about what you're getting support on, right? You have to have done your own homework, right? Don't come and say, oh, nobody's giving me support and all that shit, whereas you're not doing anything for yourself. Most people who move forward, right, don't sit around waiting for anybody to give them. You understand? Now, you get to the point where you get to, and then when you are going to get to someone about whatever you need, you let the person know that I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. This is where I'm having an issue. You must have put in your own effort. If you have effort, bro, don't come around saying, hey, nobody is supporting you, and sit your lazy ass on your bed or wherever you are sitting down and say, oh, I'm not getting support. You have to support yourself first and foremost. All right. So where am I? Interested in a lot of field, tech in field, and would like to do great things in this field. As a software developer, do you suggest I multitask and learn or no? At the moment, okay. At the moment, okay. I think at this stage where you are starting off, it's okay for you to try to understand, a basic understanding of every field in the beginning, right? Go wide first, and then as you get deeper in your career, you go deep. I mean, as you get more experience, you go deep. Go wide. Understand ethical hacking, understand software development, understand mobile development, understand web development, understand what it entails, the basic things that all this field entails. And then as you figure out what is more interesting to you, understand product management. As you figure out what is more interesting to you or what resonates better with you, right? You start to go deeper, get better skills in it. So yes, I think it's correct for you to look at all of them. Look at all of them. Don't try to be a master of all of them, right, at this stage. But look at all of them with the aim of knowing the place where you find yourself more befitting, right? And then you go more. You go deeper. if you're on a team that is working on software and you're like a junior compared to your teammates, how do you cope? You know what a sponge does when it's inside water, right? You do just that. Soak up everything you can soak up and learn as much as you can wherever you are in a junior or a beginner position, right? That is the best way you cope. And then find the best opportunity to give feedback, right? But most importantly, when you are in your beginner position, what you want to do is to learn and practice, right? So learn as much as possible, always be learning, but at that point, you want to learn as much as you can to get yourself to a place where you are most comfortable to do the work that you need to do. All right. So are there internship or IT placement opportunity currently? Yes, we do have internship or IT and IT placements. I think Godson should share my email. If you're interested in an internship place, send me an email. Godson will share my email to you guys, right? So if you're interested, send me an email, and then I'll get my people to look at it and consider. What's your general advice to developer, web mostly? What do you need to do to set ourselves apart? What do we need to do to set ourselves apart? With what you've seen so far. What you need to do is to actually practice some real projects, right? Don't learn in an abstract way. Right? If you want to learn something, practice on real projects. That's what you need to do to set yourself apart, to become better. First and foremost, what you need to do firstly is to learn to be better. Understand the basics. Learn how to do stuff without frameworks, first and foremost, while understanding why the frameworks are there, right? Of course, a lot of times you are going to build the frameworks, but understand why those frameworks are there, so that if you find yourself in a situation where you have to do stuff without framework, you are able to work around it. Do you understand? All right, so learn to do stuff without framework, understand the basics, and then build on those principles. It's still very new in computer science, but I'm interested in learning mobile app. How do we start? Please, what's your best advice? What mobile app development do you want to learn? You want to learn Android? There are several languages you need to learn to build Android. You can learn how to use Java if you are going full. You can learn how to use Java. You can learn how to use Kotlin for building directly on Android. Or you can learn to use C# and use Xamarin to build for Android and iOS. Or if you want to go iOS, you can learn to use Swift or Objective-C. I don't know if Objective-C is still involved, but you can learn to use Swift. And of course, C# too. C# is cross-platform. You can use C# to build for Android, iOS, web, and what have you. So basically, find out a language that you are interested in, and then learn how to use that language first and foremost before you learn how to use that language for mobile development. Learning programming is hard, and one of the things that make it easy, that made it hard, is lack of mentor. How does one get mentorship? What makes programming hard? Like I said before, I've said it before, that there's nothing that is worthwhile that is not hard, right? If you expect things to be simple, like I don't know, man. Like I know people like to say, oh, they don't want to suffer and all that shit, right? But I don't know what you expect. What do you expect? You don't know how to do something, but you want to learn how to do it. You have to be willing to take out the time, put in the effort, invest the time, right? Don't always expect someone to be there to guide you. There is the internet. There's tutorial classes, right? There are people who are dedicated to doing these things, and they have created videos, right? I can share with you Microsoft has a full video online for learning anything you want to learn, right? I'll share that with Dodson, and then he can share with you guys, right? It shows you how to do stuff, and then it shows you how to take those stuff and practice it. This is what you are trying to do, and this is how to practice it, right? It is best in your own best interest to reduce your dependence on a mentor, right? You need a mentor, but I mean, it's not a do or die affair. You can learn these things yourself. The internet is there to mentor you. Everything you need is really on the internet. You don't need someone coming to hold your hand and saying, oh, blah blah blah, this. It is best. Let me tell you the best way to use a mentor, right? If I tell you today, oh, I am your mentor, right? What do you expect to do? You ought to be coming to me every day and telling me, oh, you want me to come to you every single day and telling you exactly what to do, right? For free, right? Like, I have a job, hello. I have to make money. I have to feed myself. I have to take care of my responsibility, pay my bills. And you expect me to, no, come on now. You also have to be considerate, right? Do you understand? Yeah. So how you want to use a mentor is, look, this is what I've done so far. I'm having a problem here, right? This is what I've done. I've done A, B, C, D, E. I'm having a problem at F, so I'm having F in this place. How can I move past F? That is the best way to use a mentor. You help yourself up to the point where you have a problem. But if you feel like you just want to, oh, I want to start learning to program, I need a mentor. Oh, if I want to learn to program, I need a mentor. Sorry, there's nobody who would do it for you. You have the internet. You have the internet, right? You have access to the internet. You can always pick up anything you want to do. Get tutorials, right? Sit down with your computer. Spend your time to understand these things and practice and figure things out, right? That's the best way to go. And then you can now help when you get to where you stop. Then there's nobody who is not willing to help you go past where you stuck and actually see you as a useful resource because you are helping yourself. All right. So having said that, I think that's the last question. And thank you guys for having me. I appreciate your taking our time to listen to me. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll share my email with Godson, and then if you're interested in an internship, you can send me details. You have to be based in Lagos anyways, because we have our office in Lagos. All right. Take care of yourself, yeah?
Hey boy, we not go away, we not go over.